I found the laptop, David. I know about the garage. I know about 7 years ago. My husband's face completely lost all its color. The mug he was holding slipped out of his hand, shattered on the hardwood floor, and hot coffee splashed all over his leather shoes. He didn't even try to clean it up. He just stared at me like he was looking at a ghost. And honestly, in that moment, I felt like a ghost. Because finding out your husband cheated on you with your own sister is devastating enough on its own. But realizing they had been guarding a massive, sick secret together for 7 straight years while looking you in the eye every single day. That completely shatters your entire reality. If you're new here, subscribe, I post a new story every day. Okay, so let me rewind, because to understand how deeply messed up this is, you need to know who David and my sister, Chloe, were to me. David and I had been married for 8 years. I thought we had a solid, happy marriage. We had a house, we were talking about kids, we had weekend rituals, all of it. And Chloe was my younger sister. We weren't just sisters, we were best friends. Or at least, that's the delusion I lived in for nearly a decade. 7 years ago, David and I bought our first home together. It was an old fixer-upper, and it needed a tons of work, especially the detached garage out back. Around that exact same time, Chloe was going through a rough breakup and needed a place to stay for a few weeks. Naturally, I opened our doors. I was working night shifts as a nurse back then, 12-hour grueling shifts, 3 to 4 days a week. So David and Chloe spent a lot of time alone at the house. I remember coming home from work, dead tired, and seeing them working on the garage together. Painting walls, clearing out old junk, laughing. Now, here's where I'd have lost it if I had the benefit of hindsight. I actually felt happy seeing them get along so well. I thought, wow, I'm so lucky my husband and my sister love each other like family. Yeah, talk about being completely blind. Shortly after that garage project finished, Chloe suddenly moved out. She got her own apartment across town, and almost overnight, her energy toward me changed. She became distant. Whenever I'd invite her over, she'd make up some weak excuse. And David became weirdly obsessed with keeping that garage locked. He turned it into his workshop, put a heavy-duty keypad deadbolt on the door, and explicitly told me not to go in there because he had dangerous tools and projects in progress. I didn't think twice about it. I mean, why would I? He was my husband. I trusted him. Years went by, 7 years, to be exact. Chloe moved further away, got a high-paying job, but always acted nervous whenever David was in the same room. I always assumed they had a falling out over some stupid family argument that neither of them wanted to talk about. I'd ask David, did you say something to offend Chloe back when she stayed here? And he'd just shrug and say, you know how sensitive she is, babe. Forget about it. Fast forward to 3 weeks ago. David went out of town for a 4-day business trip. On the second night he was gone, a massive thunderstorm blew through our neighborhood. The wind was so intense it knocked down a heavy branch from the oak tree in our backyard, and it slammed right into the garage roof. I heard the crash from the house. I grabbed a flashlight, threw on a raincoat, and went outside to check the damage. The branch had smashed right through the side window of the garage. Rain was pouring inside, straight onto David's workbench and a stack of storage boxes. I ran to the keypad lock, punched in the code David always used for everything, but it errored out. He had changed the code. Panicking about water damage destroying his tools, I went to his desk in his home office, dug through his top drawer, and found an old backup key labeled G-Unit. I unlocked the garage door, flipped on the lights, and stepped inside. The smell hit me first, musty, old paper, and stale air. I pushed past his workbench to cover up the broken window with a tarp. That's when I noticed a small floor safe hidden underneath a heavy rug in the back corner. The storm had blown water right over the rug, soaking it completely. I pulled the rug back to dry the floor, and the safe was sitting right there, slightly jarred open. David had apparently forgotten to spin the dial closed before his trip. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't expect what came next. I thought I'd find cash, maybe some old tax documents, or gun receipts. Instead, inside that safe was an old, battered silver laptop wrapped in a plastic bag, and a physical leather journal. I sat right down on the dusty concrete floor, cold rain leaking in through the broken window, and opened the journal. The first entry was dated exactly 7 years ago. Written in David's handwriting, Chloe came out to the garage tonight while Sarah was on her night shift. One thing led to another. God forgive me. My heart didn't just break, it felt like it slammed straight through the floor. I couldn't breathe. I flipped through page after page. It wasn't just a one-time mistake. They had been sleeping together in that exact garage for 3 straight months while I was at the hospital working 12-hour shifts to help pay our mortgage. Wait, read that part again in your head. While I was out caring for patients, my husband and sister were turning our garage into their personal secret hideaway. Would you have confronted him right then over the phone, or waited for him to get home face to face? Let me know in the comments below, because I genuinely didn't know if I could survive waiting 2 days. I forced myself to keep reading, because the journal entries didn't stop when Chloe moved out. And that's when I uncovered the true nightmare. The secret they had been guarding for 7 years wasn't just the affair. 3 months into their secret hookups, Chloe got pregnant. When she told David, they both panicked. Chloe didn't want to ruin her reputation, and David didn't want to lose the house, my income, or his comfortable life. So they made a twisted, cold-blooded pact. David took money out of an old personal account I didn't have access to, paid for Chloe to secretly fly out of state to handle the pregnancy, and they swore to never speak of it again. They agreed that Chloe would move away immediately, act distant toward him, and cut off close contact with me so no one would ever suspect a thing. The laptop in the safe contained saved emails between them from 7 years ago, discussing the clinic visits, the flight tickets, and how to act around me at family dinners so I wouldn't notice their guilt. They literally orchestrated a fake falling out just to cover up a pregnancy result from an affair right under my nose. For 7 years, I felt guilty thinking I was the reason my sister grew distant from our family. For 7 years, I tried to mediate between them, trying to bring my sister and my husband back together as a family. And the entire time, they were keeping this horrific secret locked away in a safe in the very garage where it all happened. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I took high-resolution photos of every single page in that journal. I backed up every email file onto a thumb drive. Then I closed the safe, locked the garage, went back into the house, and called a divorce lawyer at 7 o'clock the next morning. When David came back from his business trip 2 days later, he walked into the kitchen expecting breakfast. Instead, he found me sitting at the table with 2 stacks of printed emails, the journal, and divorce papers ready for his signature. That's when I hit him with the line, "I found the laptop, David. I know about the garage. I know about 7 years ago." The look of absolute, soul-crushing panic on his face was something I will never forget. He tried to lie. He tried to claim the journal was just a fantasy story he wrote years ago. I just pointed at the printed emails with the clinic receipts attached. He collapsed onto his knees, crying, begging me not to tell my parents, begging me not to destroy his reputation. I didn't say a word. I packed my bags and left that afternoon. And as for my sister, I sent the entire folder of evidence directly to a family group chat with my parents, her fiancé, and her close friends, along with a simple message: "This is why Chloe stopped visiting 7 years ago." The fallout was nuclear. Her fiancé canceled their upcoming wedding that very night. My parents were completely sickened and cut ties with both of them. David tried calling me 50 times a day, but I changed my number and let my lawyer handle every single communication. We are officially divorced now. I forced the sale of the house, including that terrible garage, and took my half of the equity to start fresh in a new city. Neither David nor Chloe have spoken to me since, and honestly, that is the greatest gift they could ever give me. Looking back, it's insane how long people can wear a mask right in front of the person who loves them most. Betrayal is painful, but living a lie for 7 years while pretending to be a victim is a whole different level of cruelty. What would you have done if you discovered a secret like this after 7 years? Would you have exposed them to the whole family, or just walked away quietly? Let me know your verdict in the comments. If you made it this far, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. I post a new story every single day. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.